This woman was excited when she first bought this puppy. However, as a year passed, it turned out that the little dog was something else. You can find dog lovers all over the world. In China, there was a young woman who wanted nothing more than to own a little dog. Miss Wang had been dreaming of becoming a dog owner for a long time and finally decided to invest in one. However, she had her eyes set on a particular breed, the Japanese Spitz. This is a smaller type of dog and a favorite among pet owners who are looking for a low-maintenance animal. This pooch is best recognized for its beautiful white fur. This eye-catching characteristic is exactly what Miss Wang was drawn to. One day, Miss Wang visited a specific pet shop since she heard that they had a dog of her preferred breed. The weather was warm, as one could expect from a July day. Although canines would be eager to go out and play under the sun, this particular dog didn't appear to have much energy. It was just a puppy, so Miss Lang wasn't too concerned, believing that it would grow into a more dog-like personality after some time. When it came to the payment, Miss Wang was surprised. For such a coveted and rare breed, she only had to pay £140, around $170. Sometimes dogs are sold for thousands of pounds or dollars, depending on how purebred it is. Considering this information, she paid close to nothing in order to get her hands on such a wanted pet. Miss Wang thought the Japanese Spitz pup could be compared to a little cloud, not a physical flaw in sight. Soon after, she would take her new pet home with a smile on her face. Although she was happy to finally have gotten the dog she had been dreaming of, her experience with the little pup was far from easy. Owning any kind of animal as a pet requires a lot of research beforehand. But even then, there are situations or circumstances that may have not been previously accounted for. In the case of Miss Wang and her new dog, she became confused by its strange eating habits. Babies are in need of a lot of nutrients because all the calories and vitamins aid its healthy development. This is precisely the case in both human babies and animal ones. Miss Wang knew that she had to regularly feed her new puppy and did the prior research like any other responsible pet owner. Nevertheless, this little pooch didn't want to eat anything that Miss Wang gave it. Dog food can be thought of as the most obvious option since it can likely be found at any local supermarket and has been manufactured with the specific intention of being fed to dogs. At first, the pup ate the dog food with little complaints. However, and much to Miss Wang's dismay, this little Japanese Spitz couldn't seem to stomach any more of it after 3 months. And so the woman tried to find other foods that were safe for consumption. She even tried fruits and ultimately raw meat. Miss Wang was baffled. The canine wasn't picky this time, but ate the raw meat quickly. In spite of all her efforts, the little white dog rejected all of the foods that it had previously been given. The woman couldn't comprehend what was the matter, especially due to her constant research and inquiries about how to properly care for a dog. Even though her pet was demanding, Miss Wang refused to give her up. She simply continued to try her best to accommodate the little canine's needs. Alongside the pooch's unusual diet, it had begun to display some odd behavior. In particular, the dog never barked. Miss Wang had met several dogs and had heard from her friends how some dogs, especially the little ones, could be prone to making some noise through barking. And yet, months later, Miss Wang still wondered what her pet even sounded like. She assumed that this was due to its personality. Surely she had just ended up taking in a dog who was born quiet. There were bigger things to complain about, and so Miss Wang just dismissed the lack of barking. As expected from owning a dog, Miss Wang would bring the canine on walks around the park. She grew a little concerned at the sight of how other dogs would react to them. Even though all the pair did was walk around, other pets seemed to be scared. As a result, Miss Wang ended up having to walk her pooch on a leash. A year had passed since Miss Wang had brought her Japanese Spitz home from the shop. She was proud of owning such a beautiful animal, but even more important than that, she had grown to appreciate the presence of another being in her home. Like many other pet owners, Miss Wang couldn't help but see her precious dog as a member of her own family. Nevertheless, it would be a mistake to think that these were little issues. It took over a year for Miss Wang to realize that the so-called puppy, who she had been raising, was never a puppy. Everything changed when Miss Wang decided to get her pet examined. She felt as if she had to get the animal checked after all those concerns were raised, not only by her close friends, but also by strangers. And so Miss Wang visited Taiwan Zoo. When she arrived, the zoo workers immediately took her animal in. One of the experts at the zoo, Sun Le Shan, ended up confirming her worries. It turns out that the animal she had raised for over a year was not a dog at all. It was something else. It was a fox. Based on the size, it is a domesticated fox, Sun explained to Ms. Wang. According to the animal expert, you can distinguish a fox and a dog through its smell. As foxes grow older, the smell they emit ends up getting stronger and more pungent. This distinctive smell does not occur for dogs. The first time Miss Wang truly began to wonder about the strangeness of her dog was when its physical appearance began to change. At 3 months, its fur coat suddenly began to thicken, and it didn't look at all like what she had seen in pictures of the Japanese Spitz. In addition to this, the shape of its once round face had transformed, its snout becoming pointier. Although a dog's tail comes in all shapes and sizes, Miss Wang was surprised to see her pet's tail extend into a significant length. At the time, the fox was measured to be around 30 centimeters, 12 inches long. Unlike the Japanese Spitz, one can expect this creature to grow even bigger. After everything Miss Wang had done to support the little creature, she simply wasn't equipped with the essential skills or equipment to handle raising a fox. The zoo was a better environment for the white-coated fox in comparison to her humble home, due to its size and facilities. For almost a year, Miss Wang struggled with trying to feed her pet. The zoo would be able to give the fox a specialized diet. After a period of quarantine, the fox would then be moved into its new home. Miss Wang had faith that the zookeepers would give it the best enclosure they could offer. Even though Miss Wang knew that it was for the best, she was still heartbroken with having to part with her precious pet. No matter how hard Miss Wang tried to hide it, other people could sense how upset she was by this turn of events. The zookeepers in particular felt pity for the poor woman who had now lost her furry companion. In order to make up for taking the fox into its care, the zoo offered her an open invitation. This invitation means that whenever Miss Wang feels like seeing the fox, she has every right to come in and do so. Although she would occasionally miss having her pet around her, she was happy to still be in contact with the beautiful animal. Fortunately for Miss Wang, she was able to make some beautiful memories with her pet. Even though she didn't get the Japanese Spitz she was originally desiring, some would consider being the owner of a white-coated fox to be even more impressive. What did you think of the story? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe buttons to show your support. I hope to see you again in the next video.